Jesus freak here. I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, I don't believe in God, who it's a result of being hurt by the church. And maybe they, at one point, went through a phase of misotheism, and some probably honestly still are in that phase. But such as it is, misotheism can eventually end up in one of two approaches. Dystheism, which is you still believe in God but you think he's evil, or atheism. A lot of professing atheists in the Anglosphere were Christians at one time, and I wouldn't bet a lot of them were hurt by the church. See, when you're hurt by the church, one of three things can happen. Either you try to let it slip off your back, often ending up even more fundamentalist than those you came from. The second is you can understand that it was the church that hurt you. But generally keep the faith. And the third is you can deconstruct completely. And I think a lot of atheists fall into category 3, and I think I fall into category 2. But since 2 and 3 are very similar, and in fact I wouldn't be surprised if 2 does happen in the process of deconstruction, that they try to keep the faith, but they're just not able to. This is probably why I tend to relate more and identify more with atheists than with other Christians. Besides that being, a lot of vocal Christians are not of the same type of faith traditions that I am. Where, I'm United Methodists. We sit right on that line between, we're usually considered mainline. You sometimes find some that fall more on the evangelical side. Guess which one I grew up on. So I come across a lot like someone who was raised in evangelical. Even though I wasn't technically raised in an evangelical church, I was raised in a mainline church. You will find United Methodist churches is more on the evangelical side. A lot of things associated with evangelicalism originated with the Methodists. And we're the most direct descendant of the original Methodists. Loud, boisterous tent revivals, all that stuff. Everything but the tongues. And flopping around like dead fish and barking. Pretty much everything but the really extreme stuff that you find in the Pentecostal charismatic movement. We originated, and Yes, I'm kind of ashamed of that. Being from my perspective, though, as someone who almost deconstructed, someone who hangs out around a lot of people who did deconstruct, it does also mean I'm better at detecting BS artists trying to masquerade as atheists or ex-atheists for the same reason actual atheists are good at detecting that. You know the saying, to get good at detecting counterfeit money, you don't deal with fakes, you deal with the real thing? Same is true of Christianity and atheism. You want to get good at detecting the fakes? Learn to detect the real thing. It may be cool, it may be mimetic, it may be popular. As a believer to claim that you used to be an atheist or even a virgin killing Satanist. It's like, if you're pulling this stuff out of your backside, you really think anyone's going to believe you unless they're a complete dupe? You're certainly not going to fool someone who's familiar with the way things are, who actually knows what those types are like. Jesus, freak out.